Hey YouTube, I figured I would start the year off this year by showing you a few of the wild edible plants grown in my backyard here. This here is called lamb's quarter. It's a type of wild spinach. It's pretty frequent throughout most of North America. And one way to identify them is by the white powdery stuff growing on its leaves, especially on the undersides of the leaves. Looks almost like it's been powdered with sugar or something. Show the underside of the leaf here. And the leaves are somewhat spade shaped with some teething on the edges. Pretty short plant, at least early in the spring like this time of year. It's a good source of calcium. It's also a good source of vitamin A and protein and some other things. And pretty widespread, very tasty green. It doesn't have a harsh flavor. And we'll pick it out here, show you the stems. The root. Stems are usually green and round. And if you're wondering how it tastes, let's get a second opinion here.
I love the way how it tastes. It's delicious.
Delicious, huh?
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like spinach.
Tastes like spinach?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it tastes like? It tastes like spinach?
Well, it's sort of an odd thing, like it's some sort of lettuce.
Almost like lettuce?
Uh-huh.
Huh. Well, that's wild spinach or lamb's quarter. Let's see what else we can find. Over here in our kind of side planter we have some wild lettuce growing, or prickly lettuce. One way you can tell prickly lettuce is the undersides of the leaves have little spines right along the rib there. Usually when they're this young they're not very pokey, they're a little bit soft, but as they get older they get kind of pokey. Leaves are heavily toothed. And as you can see, when you break off a leaf, you tend to get that white sap that comes out. Stems kind of get purple markings on them, along with the little spikes. A little bit more mature one. You can see that white sap come running out of there after you break it off. Wild lettuce is pretty common throughout North America. It's a relative of the garden lettuce. And you want to pick these leaves while they're young. They tend to be a little bit bitter and sour, and they get worse as they get older. Let's get our opinion from our taste tester over here.
Hey, what about me?
Oh. Let's get you a cup. Yep, that big one. There you go.
It tastes better. It tastes bitter.
Tastes better?
Yeah.
Is it kind of sour?
Yeah.
What do you think it tastes like?
I think it tastes like wild something.
Wild something? Like wild lettuce?
Yeah, and you out there, don't bite this pokey things.
Don't bite the pokey things?
Yes.
Did it poke your mouth?
See? It tastes kind of like...
Oh, don't get too close.
It tastes kind of like dog food.
Tastes like dog food?
Yeah.
Have you tasted dog food before?
And
when I was little. Oh, yeah.
Since we have dogs might have been in here, but oh well. Oh well.
Okay, well let's see what else we got here in the plant.
Shadow. Videotape shadow.
think this is pennycress, I'm not sure.
Are we able to eat it? Mommy, come here.
I'll have to get you some more info on that later, but I believe that's pennycress. Field pennycress, I think, is the name. Little white flowers coming out on it. Let's see what else we can find. Okay, growing all over my fence back here is a type of woodbine. It's also called false Virginia creeper. The leaves are real young still, but they tend to have 5 leaflets on a leaf with toothed edges. And it grows in a vine pretty thickly, actually, as you can see.
Can I be in video?
In the summertime it covers this whole wall. And this variety is called false Virginia creeper. You can tell it from the regular Virginia creeper by the tendrils. Let me see if I can get zoomed in on some here.
Hey Mike, shh. Can I be on TV?
No, that's not working. But anyways, they have these little tendrils that tend to wrap around the fences and branches and whatever else they can grab onto. The Virginia creeper, which is more out east, has little sticky pads on it, which allows it to climb smooth walls. But this false Virginia creeper, or grape woodbine, doesn't have the little sticky pads, so it has to have something to wrap around.
This.
And it's a member of the grape family, and even the berries look like little grapes, but actually you're not supposed to eat the grapes or the leaves. The edible part of this plant is actually the inner bark. Let's see if I can see some here. The inner bark can be scraped out and stripped out and eaten raw or cooked. And you can also eat the roots cooked. And if you collect enough of this inner bark, you can boil it down and use the leftover water and boil out the water, and it turns into a sweet syrup. And you can use it to sweeten other foods. And this plant has saved people from starvation in harsh springs. And there's a couple other varieties that grow across the world, or across North America, I should say. And that is woodbine. Okay, and here we have common mallow. It's got round leaves, almost a clover type shape. The round leaves, it's a short stubby plant kinda. Oh, got some flowers down here I can show you. There's a mallow flower. And you can eat these young leaves and shoots raw or cooked as a pot herb, or you can also use the boiled down water from these as egg white substitute. You could also use this, add this in with soups and stews, or anything you want to thicken up a little bit. If it's too watery and you'd like it to thicken up a little bit, you could add some of this mallow plant that tends to thicken it up, almost like okra. In fact, I think it might be related to okra. And this is pretty common throughout most of North America. And let's see if we can get our taste testers to taste this here.
Hey! I want to taste it.
You want to taste it too?
Uh-huh.
Give it a taste.
I do.
Let's find a young leaf here. Here you go, kiddo. What does it taste like?
It tastes like, well, it doesn't really have a taste.
Pretty flavorless?
Yeah,
Yeah.
plain.
Mine doesn't have a taste too.
Doesn't have a taste at all? How about yours? What do you think it tastes like?
It tastes like dog pee.
Dog pee?
Ew.
Oh, it doesn't taste like dog pee. You're fibbing.
Have you ever tasted dog pee? Well, of course not.
No, but I've smelt it, and it doesn't taste like it smells.
If you ever drinking dog pee, well, if you don't have any food, that's fine, but
Good luck for you.
good luck for you, because we never eat dog food.
But this mallow
Come to
is delicious, and I like it a lot.
You like the mallow?
and come to
Cool.
www.mike.com.
Okay, now I'm out in my front yard, and most people recognize the dandelion. Dandelion is common throughout most of North America. It's high in vitamin C, a little bit bitter. But the whole plant is edible. The roots, the flowers, and the leaves are all edible.
Perhaps you know we already done this.
And almost everybody can recognize this one. So, and then growing right next to it is my next plant, which is actually called an aspen tree. Got a couple of, they're not usually wild down here in town, but I've got some that were planted in my yard. Let me get a better shot of one here.
I felt on all of them.
There's a good look at the bark here. Tends to have black scarring on it. You can see right here.
Is this tree edible?
And the edible part of the aspen tree is the inner bark. But you can kill the tree by getting that, so I don't usually do that unless it was in a survival situation. But the inner bark can be scraped or cut out and cut into strips or chunks and cooked like pasta. And another interesting thing with the aspen tree is it has this white powder all over the outside. You can collect a bunch of that white powder on your hands and then rub it on your arms or anywhere that's or anywhere that's exposed to the sun, and it works as an improvised sunblock or sunscreen. These ones don't have a whole lot of powder on them, but the ones up in the mountains get real powdery. You can start spreading that on any of your exposed skin, and it blocks out some of those sun rays and keeps you from getting a bad sunburn, which is really important actually up in the mountains where you tend to get sunburnt quite quick. Putting sunblock on your face, huh? Don't get too much of that on you. You're gonna have to take a shower. And the leaves. Let's see if I can get a good shot of the leaves here. Kind of spade shaped, lightly toothed. And in the fall time, they can get pretty colorful.
It's getting buns.
A lot of color.
Here's a leaf.
And well, that's the wild edible plants from my garden, or my yard, I should say.
Let's go taste the dandelion.
Okay, my taste tester insists on tasting the dandelion. So let's pull her a leaf and see what she thinks.
Don't touch my grapes. My grapes. Oh.
It's bitter.
Is it bitter? Is it sour?
Oh, yeah.
Is it as sour as the wild lettuce, or
No.
not as bad as that?
It might be the same. Yeah, it tastes the same.
Tastes about the same? About the same bitter?
Yeah.
Well, you can cook it to boil it a little bit to get some of that sour flavor out of there. Some people like to mix the wild spinach and the dandelion, so it has a little bit of sour taste to it, but not too much sour taste, and you can mix them up in salads together.
Interview me, Mike. I got something good.
What does that taste like? What does the flower taste like? Is that sour too?
Yeah.
Yeah? Sour?
Maybe a little bit more bitter than the leaves.
A little more bitter than the leaves?
The leaf, Mike.
And that's dandelion.